evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. As we got a little rain today, I think we all needed it. So why don't we call the meeting to order, and let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this is a study session. However, we are going to have our Senate come up and give a few announcements before I do a few announcements.
Okay, so I just have some announcements for the homecoming dance. We just have some updates. So right now you're working with NAHS for the decorations.
Guys, your mic's on?
I'm not sure.
Hello. There you go.
Yeah, so we're working with NAHS for decorations. We have a budget of around $2,000. Our current estimate of the amount of money we're spending is going to be probably less than that. And right now we have around 4 chaperones, which is currently under the amount that we need. So we're going to be working on that. We do have a student band that is hopefully going to be playing for us. Their name is Proxima Centauri. And the PTSA is working with us to handle the foods and drinks.
We've also recently had a Senate meeting while it was not a business meeting. While it was not a business meeting, we made all the Spirit Valley banners that the teams run through. So we also made one for the unified team, which I think is new from last year. We didn't have one for them, but now that we do this year, because the Senate is the one to hold all those banners, we've also had meetings with the Spirit Valley heads on the different roles that the senators will be playing, like holding those banners and such for that. Also with the mascot committee at the last football game, the mascot did not make an appearance. That was because he was at the cleaners. But the mascot should be back for this game on Friday. So that'll be there. And then also the PTSA has been working with the Senate and our committee on our grant proposal, and that has been finished and I think it's, according to Ms. Claus, it has been submitted tonight. So I think she told me in about a month we'll see whether or not we won the grant proposal for that.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Good stuff. Eric, I don't know if you wanted to make an announcement or. Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, so the college fair was last Thursday, and I personally didn't have the time to go myself, but I did hear that it was a good experience. There were about 100-ish people, a little bit more, lots of parents, and their feedback was that there was good college diversity. For the cell phone policy, I'm seeing no problems. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to. And then the AMC, the American Math Competition, is going to be on Wednesday, November 5th. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. All right. So a few announcements. Mrs. Thompson is not here tonight due to a personal engagement, and Mrs. Miller is not here tonight, but she is celebrating the Jewish New Year. And then one more announcement. So at the last meeting, we did hear from the community, one community member saying that they were asking about what the process is for selecting a new superintendent. And then from there, a few PTA meetings I had attended, others had attended, the question also came up as well. And so just tonight, I just want to put it out as the board will start to have these conversations, and just trying to put a pin in the fact, right? I think we're off to a tremendous start. I have somebody sitting to the right of me that, along with her very esteemed team, has kicked off this year tightly. Very well done. It sets us up for tremendous success, so thank you. But along the same lines, right, this process is an open process. Shenendehowa prides itself on the steadfast commitment to excellence, as you see as you travel down the roads of Shenendehowa United School. You're going to see that hanging. Decisions are approached both tactically and strategically. The selection of the next superintendent of schools warrants a measured, very measured approach. Before the BOE can embark on this specific process, we will all come together and start the conversation together, right, Naomi? Together.
Absolutely.
As a team. And here are going to be the 3 questions that I come to my colleagues on. The why is the position so important? The what What are gonna be the key priorities of what we want to see? Now, as we all think back, each one of us know, as we think back in our experience and our history of Shenendehowa, what that's going to look like, right? And then the how. How are we going to make this process transparent and clear to the community, to our students, to everybody that's going to touch it? And in the end, the best candidate comes forward as the next superintendent of Shenendehowa. So with that, I do say that in the coming weeks, we can do this off cycle too. I will be open for conversation with my board peers and colleagues and how we're going to do that, and I look forward to it. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, Dr. Wilson Turner, I'm going to adopt an agenda. Can I have a motion? Naomi is first, Petra is second, all in favor? Motion passes, thank you so much. And to you, Dr. Wilson Turner.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Tonight is a very popular night in the district's Board of Education meetings. We call this the Plans meeting. And so before I jump into introducing some of our district team who will come up and share some critical information about how we execute some of our key policies in the district, I just would offer a few remarks. I want to say thank you to all those who participated in our Welcome to Shen Fair. It was very well attended both by our community partners and our families, both new and veteran, taking advantage of the resources that was there. And so I thank you to our Community Development Office, Mr. Davis and Ms. Carmen for helping to organize that and bring that together for families. I then saw certain families again at Octave's PTA back to school picnic, and they were just remarking on how well done that was and what it provided them access to. And it's just a great example of how we work in partnership with our community, which is a part of our mission, and we are better because of it. Sitting in the back, I'm looking at our PTA Council President and reminding me that we have, last night had our first PTA Council meeting, and at that point we discussed that the high school is a school of excellence according to New York State PTA. And so it's not the first time, and it's not our first school, but they will have the opportunity to celebrate that in October. So job well done. There's work that goes into that, and I think a really nice piece of that is how they actively engage student voice in that process in order to be identified as such a school. So we are off to a wonderful start at the school year. Some of us were able to participate in our first home football game of the school year. And for those of you who don't know, because I discovered this, there is an app called Huddle. And so if there's any sporting event that you want to participate in but aren't able to physically be there, you can download that app and access most Gen games. So it's something that we have available and want to make sure people take advantage of. And as you know, our classrooms are off and running. I've had the opportunity to come in and visit some of our new teachers. I was in a kindergarten classroom today. I always say, if you need a pick-me-up, just go into the kindergarten classroom. They compliment your shoes, your hair, your clothes, and they're learning so much and are so excited to be there. So I want to say thank you to all of our staff, our teachers, our administrators, and all of our support staff, really, that make everything happen every day here at Shen. So off to a great start, and I really appreciate all the support. So in this study session is really a great example of how we execute our organizational goals. And so these aren't plans just because we have to have plans that we post for SED, but they're actually plans that help advance our mission and goals for the district. And so we have technology integration and cybersecurity, right, which really speak to the infrastructure, not just for our school and classroom practices, but also for us to be fiscally responsible in how we protect the assets and resources in the organization from a technology standpoint. Our professional learning plan overviews the work that we do, again, in line with our goal for personnel and professionalism, that really helps us tease out what our professional learning needs are, and so that we build the capacity of every staff member to most effectively execute their job responsibilities. Our special education plan and our multi-tiered systems of support and our counseling plan really tie back to school and classroom practices and how we make sure our students have access to the best possible learning situations and instructional pathways, as well as the interventions and supports that they may need along the way, both academically and social-emotionally, as we see in our counseling plan. And so tonight you will hear from each of our directors in these areas, outlining an overview of these plans, but you have access to the full plan to read in detail. And those of us in district typically reference these plans quite frequently. I know mine has dog ears and little post-it notes for things that you want to go back and reference when you want to understand the MTSS process, or how we get to a decision around professional learning, or what our special education programming actually is and what that continuum service looks like. So it's a tremendous resource that our district staff put together that they will share with you tonight through a particular graphic. So I would ask our Director of Information Management Systems, Ray Nardelli, to come forward for the two plans for technology and cybersecurity. And as Ray's walking up, I will remind you that we do not share the full cybersecurity incident response plan for safety purposes, but you will have a graphic just articulating what that process looks like.
Well, thanks. Okay, so our technology integration plan, we try to focus on the district goals, and it's structured around something called the Future Ready Framework. And you can see some of the pieces of that framework on this slide. Curriculum, so the things that drive our decisions with technology: curriculum, PD, infrastructure, and data privacy, of course, and budget, and then collaborative leadership. You can go to the next slide. So looking back at last year, 24-25, some of the things that that I like to highlight are Magic School. We've talked a lot about it, but it really hit a fever pitch with our students. Our teachers did a great job of getting this out to the students last year. There was a culmination of a March Madness event, which was very fun. John Bullington led that, and we came in second. Shen came in second nationally, so it was very cool. It was just a fun event. But there was over 300,000 student connections in the past 12 months to Magic School. Multi-factor authentication is something that we've talked about a lot. We finally implemented that to its completion last January. That's where every staff member needs a second factor to get into their Google account. There's one group left that needs to do this, and I'm gonna get you. So yeah, the Board of Education, I've talked to Cecily about getting the Board of Education on our Duo platform. So that's in progress. District-wide wireless network, we had completed that the year before, but spent the entire last year kind of smoothing out the wrinkles, getting things set. I think the biggest issue that we see with our wireless is personal devices on our personal phones, staff phones. And that's kind of, it's difficult for IMS, it's out of our control. We don't own the devices. iPhones tend to connect very, very easily. Android devices sometimes are really tough to get on and require IMS to touch it. But you can imagine, like, 12, I don't know, how many staff do we have? I can say 1,200, but I don't know how many. But, everyone's carrying around a personal device. But if ever I hear any frustrations about wireless, it's always people's personal devices, not the Shen devices. And frankly, we have never not been able to get a personal device on our network. So anyway, David Hines, my assistant director, has done a phenomenal job getting that going. Our wired network, we are starting to upgrade that. That's 6+ years old, and we're using E-rate funding to do that. We get a 50% discount. It's a federal program, so we get 50% off all of the networking gear that we purchase, which is an amazing, amazing benefit. So we work hard to kind of to take advantage of that. And finally, as a part of our obsolescence planning, excuse me, we replaced all of the high school desktop computers in the classrooms with mobile devices. That was last year's kind of one of the successes. That's in the high school, and that went very, very well. And then that kind of goes well to the next slide, where somewhere on there we have the middle school. So we actually this year we're implementing middle school. Now that actually, it's classroom displays. If you scroll down to the next one. So this is what's coming up for this year. And I guess I'll start at the top. Maxwell is a big project, right? I mean, now we were able to take advantage of our smart schools, about $800,000 we had left in our smart schools fund. So that is currently paying, that got approved 10 days ago. And that is paying for all of the networking infrastructure in Maxwell, the wire and the installation. That's paying for the PA system, the digital PA system. That's paying for all of the phones. And that's paying for the cafeteria and the gym AV systems. Now, beyond that, there's still a lot of stuff we need to buy. We need to buy devices for teachers, devices for office staff, classroom interactive panels, printers, copiers, TVs, all those things go into Maxwell. In fact, Dr. Wilson-Turner and I are meeting with Kathy Wetmore tomorrow to discuss some of that funding. The second item up there, incorporating Gemini into admin work. We talked a lot about AI in instruction, but we're trying to make sure that our operational staff are also using AI and understand how to use it. We did a session at our Leadership Academy in July. Vicky's crew, Ben Early and Vanessa Kramer and I led that. And then we're looking into micro-credentialing so that people can do training on their own time to get more up to speed with that. Again, I talked about the middle school teachers. So this year we replaced a middle school teacher classroom computers with mobile devices, high-end Chromebooks. That's going well so far. Disaster recovery infrastructure. We did some really integral things to separate our devices that were redundant into different spaces so that if we had a fire or flood or something, we could still continue to operate because our redundant hardware are in 2 different places. So we did a lot of that over the summer. And then the last one on here is we're looking to update our password policy to make passwords a little easier for folks to remember. It's really utilizing passphrases instead of random numbers and letters and that kind of thing. So we're working to kind of get that set up so that as staff passwords expire, they can come up with new passwords that are easy to remember. So, any questions on the technology?
So so at the beginning of the year, there was software that you said that was being preliminarily tested, but it actually was showing up in my email, was saying.
That's quarantine. Quarantine.
So
That's coming next week.
It's coming next week. So
yeah.
I stopped seeing it.
Yeah, we turned it on. So, I mean, to be honest with you, my staff did a great job of kind of getting that all set up, and in the flurry of the start of school, they were ready to implement it and realized that was just not the right time. So we pulled the plug and just delayed it a couple of weeks so that we could now, so I've been sending an email a week letting people know, this is coming. When you see these quarantine messages, and we can talk about more about that, but my colleagues say I have a time limit and I'm over already, so. So anyway, moving on to cybersecurity. Unless there's any other burning questions about it.
The only thing I was going to say about that is that it did flag things that were important, so be sure to look at it, just don't let it sit in quarantine.
And we've been trying to iron out the wrinkles of that one.
Okay, because I know you had a question about it too. The quarantine messages.
I don't think so. I'm good.
You're good,
Okay.
okay.
All good? Cybersecurity is a little bit simpler. I mean, this is, we have an incident response plan. We use the NIST framework, which is a standard industry across, all kinds of businesses for protecting network infrastructure, privacy, and data. So there's the kind of the general framework right there, if you can go to the next slide. So this plan really just kind of steps us through what we need to do if we have a cybersecurity event. The only thing we updated in this year's plans were some of the contacts that have changed over the last 12 months. So we have agencies in there, we have, vendors in there that, so when we are, if we are, hit with something that we need assistance with, we get, quick access to the different people we can call. So that was the primary, updates to this year. Then if you go to the last slide, really the thing that we need to be doing is tabletops. And we did 2 in 23-24, but last year we didn't do any. It was a plan, but we didn't execute that plan. So the hope is this year that we'll do an IMS tabletop and then a district tabletop to take us through a situation where, if a cyber incident does happen, what do we do and how do we handle it?
Hey, Renee, I did have a question. And we may have discussed that in this part of the very beginning of the SAVE meeting. Do we work in partnership with the SAVE group, with Becky and, looking at this as a safety?
Cybersecurity?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Becky and Julie were integral in
Yeah.
putting that plan together.
No, that's great.
Yeah, we put that plan together about 18 months ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And we sat many hours with Becky and Julie.
Yeah.
Any other questions? 6 minutes.
Great job, Ray. Everybody's got their timer on.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Wyatt.
I am going to share a little bit about our professional learning plan, which, as Dr. Wilson Turner mentioned, really guides our work and guides the work of my department in particular over the course of the year, looking at how we can best make sure we are supporting not only our instructional staff, but all of our staff to knowing the things that they need to know to be successful and to excel in their jobs. So what I really wanted to take some time to point out this evening are some highlights from last year. We had over 1,200 participants in PD offerings just that we offered here at Shen. Obviously, we live in the Capital Region. There are great opportunities through the Capital Region Teacher Center, through Cap Region BOCES, through Arburn. So folks are taking advantage of professional learning opportunities off this campus as well. But we're very proud of what we are able to offer right here on campus. One of the pieces of feedback that I've gotten since I've been here is the interest in staff being able to access not only mental health awareness opportunities, but overall wellness opportunities. And we were able to expand that last year, in particular during our January Superintendent's Conference Day. We had some great community partners, the Capital District YMCA, the Hot Yoga Spot, the CDPHP came in and did free workshops for folks, and they were able to combine their day of have one wellness workshop and then take 2 other workshops that had to do with their job practice, and folks really, really appreciated that. In addition to that, we are getting more and more numbers of our teachers being willing to lead PD for their peers. We just had our first professional learning committee meeting of the year yesterday, and that's one of the pieces of feedback from the faculty members on that committee is how much they appreciate hearing from their peers who are willing to put together professional learning opportunities for them. So that is continuing to grow. In the coming year, Ray's already spoken a little bit about the focus on generative AI for both staff and student use. There are a lot of different ways that it can be utilized, but our focus at the beginning of this year is really on the ethical use of artificial intelligence and making sure that students at all levels understand in a developmentally appropriate way what it is and the right ways to use it. We want to continue to broaden those social emotional learning and wellness opportunities throughout the course of this year, and also expand our flexible on-demand PD. The board approved our purchase this year of 2 new products, one called Kick Up Learning, which is a professional learning management system, and the other called Otis for Educators, which is an on-demand learning system. And I have started rolling those out with small groups of people with the goal that these will be available to folks. The Kick Up platform helps folks keep track of what professional learning they have done, but will also allow our department to look at data analytics on what things people are taking and start being able to make some correlations between those things and student performance. And the Otis platform will allow folks to take courses on demand in whatever topics they are interested in. And that's one of the final pieces of feedback that we have gotten from our professional learning needs assessment, is that people want PD that applies directly to them. So giving them that opportunity to make choice and have it be individualized is something that we are very glad to have invested in. Any questions?
Do we, so do we pay for the platform, is it like a yearly license, and then people can just choose what they want? Or
Yes,
is it-
yes, and one of the things that we're doing to make certain that everyone is utilizing it is we're going to be moving our compliance trainings, which everybody in the district has to do, to that platform. Additionally, it gives us the capability that we can upload videos and assign them to folks. So one of the things I did this year is Dr. Wilson Turner, when she greeted our new teachers, and Mrs. Carmen, when she gave her policy talk at New Teacher Orientation, Brooke was kind enough to videotape those, and so now we have those in the platform. So new teachers that come along in the middle of the year, while they can't have the whole New Teacher Orientation experience, can see those key moments and those highlighted topics.
Do you give them a quiz at the end of it?
Some of them do have embedded quizzes, but I don't know if we'll do it for those.
That's great.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wyatt. Next, we'll have Ms. Hazelton with our special education plan.
I just have an observation with the last one. I wonder if you could put like that training for the NISBA students, you know, the training that was given.
Oh,
Yeah,
might be something if they have it available.
Yeah.
Like, that's the nice part of the platforms that Vicky's looked at is not only does Otis come with some predetermined webinars that we can load for people, we can also record the professional learning, as she mentioned, that we do, and have that available. So I think that's great.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
So our special education plan for 25-26, there aren't any like major significant changes from the prior year. The continuum of services has remained the same. The only addition is that we have 3 new classrooms. We have 2 classrooms at the kindergarten level for individual skills development, and that's at Arenda. And then we have 1 additional K2 functional skills classroom at Shattuckon. So we just kind of like increased our continuum, not any changes necessarily in actually the structure of the continuum as of right now. Next slide, please. The other new piece that I want to highlight is we did do a reorganization of our special education academic administrators. So with the 1 elementary academic administrator was spread across 8 buildings last school year. So we changed that where we have 2 elementary academic administrators, and they are split between 4 buildings each. And then they also are sharing the CPSE students. So the CPSE students that they are assigned are the ones that will go into those 4 buildings. In an attempt to create better relationships with not only each building, but also with the families that are working with that academic administrator from the time they potentially are 3 years old all the way through 5th grade. Just want to be able to create more connections and familiarity for the family so they know the people that they go to for those services. And we also aligned our behavior specialists in the same format so that they are assigned to the same buildings. So again, we have more relationships with and can count on certain people within those buildings. My goals for 25-26 are aligned to the district goals. The first one is office management and organizational effectiveness. My goal is to increase efficiency through aligned processes and procedures K-12, and also closing gaps with specific trainings. The next goal I have is building leadership capacity of administrative employees. I really need to empower my administrators to grow skills and opportunities to lead within their department. I also want to continue fostering a culture of collaboration with the building leaders, staff, and families. And then, as always, increase practices of inclusivity, which is always a continuous goal within special education and supported through New York State Education Department, their blueprint for improved results for students with disabilities. You guys have any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
For your plan for this coming year, is that also the updates to by Maxwell, the special education for kindergarten? Is that's part of this as well?
So that's not in this year's
Okay.
plan, but that's definitely, we have many conversations continuing regarding how we're going to implement for 26-27 at Maxwell. Right, because we have to consider the reorganization of like who is going to oversee the special education program, how is the staff going to be implementing the services there. So yeah, so much still to be considered for that. Yeah, but we're excited.
Yeah.
Yes, very excited.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, thank you so much.
So Bree, just one
Oh, yeah,
comment I'd
sure.
like to make. Again, somebody that walked into a very, very big role, and you took the mantra of listen, learn, lead.
Yes.
And that is something that will do you well as you continue to go forward. So I want to compliment you on that because again, I know that this is a lot. I talked to, the administrators across and it's a huge role and you and Lori
Yeah.
are, have taken, you're being thoughtful. And some people want everything done the next day and it just doesn't work like this, especially in this role. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for all the good things
I
you're doing.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Brianne. Next up, we'll have Ms. Sarah Schneller, Director of Student Learning, Data and Accountability, to go over our MTSS plan.
Good evening, everybody. So you will see here, there's 3 slides here. We're gonna scroll right to the third one if we could. These are the ones you guys have seen in the past. Kind of shows you'll see similar images and similar notions here. We're in year 4 of implementation of our MTSS plan. Each year, we have made refinements to the plan. Those refinements have been really centered on providing clarity and ensuring that we are truly allowing for service to follow the need of our students. That is really the overarching goal of our MTSS plan, really seeking to promote, again, all students reaching their full potential. And so we think about how do we do that and what is the impact that we have seen from our plan at this point. And it's very exciting now that we have been in this work for 3+ years, we have data to look at and trends that we can kind of see within that. And so we've seen that our students receiving academic intervention service have grown at higher rates. When we compare them to their like peers, we see that their student growth percentiles, again, are slightly higher than those who are not receiving AIS, so we can see that our academic intervention services are working. We also can see our general proficiency levels on New York State assessments, as well as our universal screener have also increased over time. So again, this shows us that the work that we are doing around MTSS is working. So as we move into the 25-26 school year, we're really working to ensure that we have sustainability with the systems that we've established here, that we are continuing to promote data-based decision-making, and again, this notion of service following need. And with that comes this sort of first image here demonstrating the importance of quality core instruction, right? Tier 1 instruction, what all students receive, is at the heart of everything. And so our focus point this year is really continuing to strengthen that core 1 instruction. So some newer pieces that you'll see built into the plan this year. The first one is the winter assessment decision tree. And that just kind of shows us what happens after this winter assessment. So students are screened 3 times a year, and we have a very detailed plan, had a very detailed decision tree for the fall. And we started to realize, well, what's happening in the winter when we already have kids in AIS? We don't need to be screening those kids again. We have progress monitoring data on them. So we provided some additional clarity here in terms of how that process should go. Again, ensuring that everyone is receiving the service that they need. We also have looked to bolster the section around English language learners, adding some additional resources in here that kind of point at different instructional strategies within each of the tiers, again, looking to promote that core 1 instruction. We have also added a section for the high school, specific to grade 9, but really looking to provide some continued resources and some specificity to how we are having those conversations. It's very exciting that the high school is now on Intervention Compass. They have data walls, which you see a little snippet of there. So our 9th grade teachers started the year out with all of this information right in front of them based on 8th grade, right? So we're really putting a lot of data in front of people. We're creating systems to inform decision making, again, also that we can really ensure that service follows need. Any questions?
Good to see the data.
I tried to not go too deep tonight. That'll come later.
That's what I meant. We'll see the data, we'll actually see this applied in the results in
Yeah.
January, is that when we see it, or is it?
I think in October we have a.
Oh, we're gonna do something in October.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. And next we have Mr. Davis, Director of Student Growth and Innovation.
All right, good evening, everyone. So, my one slide tonight encompasses both the K-12 counseling plan and the Counseling Advisory Committee student outcome goals. So both this plan and the goals are part of the ASCA national model for school counseling and New York State regulations that govern school counseling programs statewide. So first, I just want to mention that the ASCA national model has been updated recently. So I had the privilege to attend the ASCA conference this summer and learn all about the updates and changes to the national model. New York State will be reviewing those and deciding whether to incorporate them into state regs. But the changes that were made are really things that Shen is already doing. So it's always good to know that we're at the forefront of the work that's being done nationally, and I'll just highlight a few of the changes that are now in the new national model. So first, alignment with MTSS. So the 4th edition of the ASCA national model did not mention MTSS, so that multi-tiered systems of student support has sort of replaced the concept of response to intervention, or RTI lives within MTSS now. So Shen, of course, has been embracing MTSS for several years, both at the academic, behavioral, social, emotional, attendance, and mental health areas. So we are all set there in terms of our implementation of that. The new national model also makes clear that the outcome goals that counselors should be reaching towards are access, life readiness, and academic success. So access to college, access to career, life readiness for whatever it is that students are looking to do after high school. And the 3rd pillar of the national model is academic success. And the data that counselors should be looking at based on the new national model includes attendance, discipline, systemic barriers that students may be facing, incorporating student perspectives as well as the perspectives of education partners, including parents, community members, board members, etc. So we are well prepared to implement the new version of the ASCA national model, which will likely be incorporated into New York State regulations here in the next few years. So the K-12 counseling plan lays out everything we do as a district relating to school counseling. It promotes academic, social, emotional, mental health, and college and career aspects of the work of school counselors. And of course, our goal is always to foster an environment where all Shen students are provided the tools to succeed, both while they're here and after they leave our system. So one aspect of the plan is that it establishes the Counseling Advisory Committee. And each year, the Counseling Advisory Committee establishes 1 or 2 goals that become the focus of the work of the committee and the department for the year. So this year, we've decided to keep the goal we've had for the last several years, which is actually number 2 on the slide, to increase school-based student engagement for all students, welcome and orient new students and families to promote a sense of community and belonging. So this goal was based in data that we looked at my first year at Shen, that showed that students who transferred into the district or had moved multiple times had a higher likelihood of possibly dropping out. We're still talking about very low numbers of students, right? But even then, we wanted to look at, well, how are we orienting new students to the district, which is how the fair that we had last weekend came to exist. And we've gone through several iterations of it But I think Dr. Wilson Turner is absolutely right. Last weekend was the most successful fair we had. We moved it way earlier in the school year, had it on a Saturday, and we had great turnout. So it's always exciting to see that the efforts that the committee has put forth are bearing fruit. And this year, our new goal is to reduce the number and percentage of discipline referrals and out-of-school suspensions for all students K-12 through the use of MTSS, in particular behavioral, social, emotional, and mental health supports and interventions. So first, we will examine our current data and the impact of that data, and then suggest improvements to the supports we currently offer at both the elementary, middle, and high school level. So for our board reps who are on the CAC, that's a little preview of the work we're going to be doing this year. We're excited to put that forth. Last year, our goal was all about attendance. We were able to make some great gains there with our new attendance teacher, and we're excited to see the outcome of our work this year related to behavior. Any questions?
That's your question. So you said you were going to be implementing the ASCA model. So do you implement the national ASCA model anyway, and then you wait to see whether New York implements the regulations, or do you sort of pick and choose?
So, great question. The ASCA national model is guidance. The state regs are requirements, right?
Okay.
So there's nothing in the ASCA national model that supersedes state regs. They're complementary to one another. So really, the model has just been updated. State counseling regs have not been updated since 2019, but they will be eventually, and we're really doing anything over and above what's in the state regs. It's always acceptable as long as we're meeting the minimum requirements. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. If I may just offer just a final compliment to the district leaders who presented this evening, and to thank Ms. McKenna for her leadership. Each of these plans goes through her office for review, which means she also has a dog-eared, post-it noted copy of each of these plans. But I think she would say it helps you better understand the organization and the work of the organization. And even though our directors are the ones who stood up and presented these plans this evening, they each have a committee of folks that they are working with throughout the year to provide input on the plans in real time, right? So Sarah's always having little notes in the MTSS plan. Vicki, a long time ago, decided I'm gonna keep track of every question people have from professional learning that will ultimately influence what happens in the professional learning plan. And so it's really the on-the-ground, real action that happens to bring our policies to life, right? And that implementation, and it's the opportunity for multiple stakeholders to have feedback. So thank you to each of you for your presentations tonight. I think you see we have a very talented team that we have pulling the work for the district. So thank you for allowing your presentations this evening.
I would echo that. It seems, I've said this word before, this phrase, it's a level up. Each year, it just astounds me, all the work and the continued progress of the leadership team and how they go forward in the name of our students. So it's all wonderful stuff. So thank you so much. I'm sure the board appreciates your efforts as well. Okay, moving into action items. The captain resolution, it's not here, but we're going to take action on that. You've read that. We talked about that in our last meeting as well. The 10,000, and that came out of the inspections and the 3 items to be repaired. So with that, can I get a motion to proceed? Naomi is first. Can I get a second? Mary Pelling is second. All in favor? Motion passes. I'm sorry, I'm going over you because you're sitting there just so, I'm like, but you know, I can't miss you. I can't miss you there.
I'm just stretching out, so I'm Mary Pelling.
I'm like,
I just remember like last meeting, it was just me. No, somebody else
I should have even done that. That's me. Thank you. Motion passes. So, staffing recommendations, Mrs. DeLeo?
Yes. Good evening. You have the staffing agenda in front of you tonight. There are no specific items to call out on this agenda.
Thank you for that. Any comments? Okay, can I get a motion? Patrick's first. Andrea second. Okay, all in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, to wrap it up, the good of the order, I'm sure we have a lot of things to say, a lot of good stuff going around, so I'll open the floor. Oh, come on. Naomi went to the, I know Naomi and Mary Colleen went to the
Well, okay, I can,
New to Shen.
well, there were a couple things, the new Shen Fair, wow, I mean, yes, and we sent the email to talk to, also, compliment the team. You know, Mrs. Carmen, Mrs. Kramer, yes, Mila Kramer, I'm just blanking on names right now. Vicky and, Matt, I mean, they did so much work, but I haven't attended one in the past, so I really don't have any point to compare. I just thought it was really well done. I had a great time, and I talked to so many people. It was really just pleasant. 2 hours doesn't seem like enough. I'm sure that they were happy when it was done, but it just felt like it went by really fast. But I also wanted to also shout out for the NISBA training for the new students. I'm hoping that Eric can maybe comment to that. But before so, I'll say we had our SAFE committee right before this one. You know, it was the first one of the year where we talk about, you know, the process and introduce, you know, the people in the room. It's a packed room. It covers all aspects of this organization, outside and in, you know, our law enforcement officers, but also all the people inside that are key to making that work. And, you know, it just touches everything. Cybersecurity touches everything. I just thought it was fun to hear about the cell phone policy, and I think Eric also spoke to that. But to hear how it's going, we also got to see what the cell phone hotel looks like. There's one right over there. And it was really a fun conversation to hear that, you know, it's going well, and even there's some talk about, you know, the exceptions, but there's so few exceptions. It's really it's a smooth rollout of that plan. And I also was happy to hear that there's going to be a survey to get more feedback that also Mr. Agostinelli is working on too. That's going to go out. So those were the main things I wanted to share. But I did want to ask Eric, what did he think of the NISBA training?
I think it was a really nice experience.
Patrick, can you roll him up? I'm sorry, thank you, Patrick.
Oh yeah, he should be able to get his own mic.
Yes.
I guess we'll just borrow this for now. I think the training experience was a very good experience to meet more of my peers, like, and see that other schools have people like me and how what their approach is going to be to like take on this role and what their challenges are and what they're looking forward to doing. And I think it was a great opportunity for me to increase my own confidence and my ability to take on this role.
Thank you. There were, I think, over 500 people that were supposed to attend virtually, and within the capital region, those students attended in person, so you're part of the crew that were in person.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, there's 700 school districts, so obviously not everyone was on the call. But that's a big turnout, so, and they had only wonderful things to say about the students that were there in person, so thank you for representing. Shen, that is, so, that's it, that's all I want.
I was just gonna jump in really quick just to shout out to the organizers of the college fair, which was not my first college fair, but my son's first college fair. But it was the most happening place to be on campus. It was super well attended, and it was really well run, and I think it went till 8 o'clock, but people were still there past 8 o'clock. So it was definitely a great experience, and it's fantastic. You know, we had a great diversity of institutions at all different levels, which was fantastic. And I heard people say people from other schools went to the Shen one because we had the best diversity of institutions. So kudos to everybody on that. It was great.
I've been to both of those, but in the past, and I wish I could have gone to see how it's grown, because I am so excited, and thank you again, Matt, it's such a great idea, and I really like that it's been expanded now, not just to the new families, but to everybody, right, to see what's going on in our schools. We have so much, and I think a lot of it may get lost at times. I wanted to shout out to all the open houses that have occurred, which have been fantastic. The ones that are to come, I know the high school open house is next week, and all the students that are volunteering. It's been wonderful to see the community come back together. I know Octay had a party, Chango had a party, the middle school had a party. Like, it's wonderful, and we couldn't have had better weather for all these outdoor events. And it's so much, right? Like you wanna go to all these things and I think there's literally 3 or 4 things going on Thursday night, right? Just Thursday night, and, it's just fantastic. We have such a great group of people and just such a community.
I just have a couple things too that I want to add. So I had the opportunity to attend Gowanna as the Board of Education liaison, and I'm super thrilled to be back at Gowanna. I did attend the PTA Council meeting last evening. There's a couple things that kind of keep jumping out at me. I'm a big mission person. PTA Council collaboration, I might be saying this in the wrong order, but you'll get the point. Collaboration, cooperation, celebration is sort of their mission and their mantra this year. Absolutely love that. I live in the corporate world for work, like that's like my day job. I am deeply impressed. Maybe because I'm not an educator and I've been sitting on the parent side of things for forever, even though I've sat on a lot of committees at Shen. I'm just absolutely blown away. I mean, anybody can strategize, but to execute, I mean, I just see like the flawless execution, how incredibly mindful so much of this work is. The special education piece, the continuity of care, being able to have parents, be aligned to one, educator that just seems brilliant to me. So I'm just like, kudos to all of you. It's amazing. So I'm just kind of happy to be part of it.
Good comment, Amber. Yeah, and back to Eric, I don't know, I think Naomi would remember, but Shen was probably one of the first to the party bringing on a student representative that sat around the board table. So it's amazing to watch that program and actually become mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the year. So Eric, congratulations. And you said the word challenge. I hope you find it as an opportunity. It's a great experience for you, as Maddie would tell you, and other reps before you. So I hope you enjoy your journey.
Thank you.
And the other thing real quick, to grab onto what Naomi and Andrea had said, the PTAs, to be able to get to the PTAs, it's always, the first PTA meeting of the year is always a gangbuster, right? You see all the new families when you get to the elementary and all the brand new families that are coming through the door. Volunteerism is so important to so many people that sit around this table, we get it. So big shout out to PTAs. Mr. Fitz, congratulations. I'm sure you'll lead. And it'll be amazing this year. So yeah, it's great kickoff again. And with that, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn. Naomi is first. Adjourn second. All in favor. Here we go. Thanks, everybody.